years for that. How does that feel? I think TJ don't want you guys to sit there and hold your pipe and say, oh, we've had them for 3 years in reality. What we're waiting for, what we're counting down the days for, is getting back in front of that W3L crew and beating whatever tag team comes in there to prove that we're the best tag team in the country. TJ, rumour is, you're not 100%.
That's not very off at the ending.
How's the rehab going?
It's getting there. I had to go through surgery. But like I said,
Wait. I'll tell you something. I should have those belts. I should have every belt here in W3L. You know, but you come here with your silly little injury. You know what? I should have a shot at those titles. And I'll find myself a partner if I need to. I'll do it all by myself.
I'll give you the chance to walk away before I put you down. Let's go.
Hey there everybody and welcome to Wrestling Showdown. Thank you for joining me, thank you for having hit that subscribe button. Of course you'll be notified every time we bring you a new episode of Wrestling Showdown every Sunday at 12 o'clock here on the W3L Network, or if we bring you anything on the W3L Network. On this week's episode, not only are we going to be seeing Craig Stevens in action, I'll have an injury update about Mike Musso and we'll be hearing from Kevin Williams as well, so stay tuned for that. And all three of those people that I've mentioned, they are going to be present and correct at Wrestlution 14, our biggest event of, let's be honest, the past 2 years, coming your way in Dunfermline. Tickets for it are on sale right now. It's huge, we already know the main event is for the Heavyweight Championship, Mike Musso, Looking Sharp and Bobby Roberts. That is not all, because we are live and unlocked with more live events as well. We are in Galashiels, we are in Linlithgow and we are in Grangemouth. Galashiels happening next Sunday, that's right, 7 days time. That's all you've got to get your tickets and see our first live event since the pandemic. It's going to be fantastic. You can pick up your tickets for all these events from our website. Let me take a moment to thank our sponsors for these fantastic shows. Let me thank White Autotech and Blackcliff Sitchell who are helping to co-sponsor our live event in Galashiels. Let me thank Il Frutti Vindolo who are co-sponsoring our live event in Linlithgow. Let me thank Cushies in Dunfermline who are of course co-sponsoring Wrestlution 14. And yes, Crafty Connoisseur who sponsor all of our live events. Thank you to every single one of our sponsors. Please show them some support, get in touch, tell them that we said hello. And of course if you or somebody you know would like to sponsor a W3L event or two as we travel up and down the east coast of Scotland, get in touch. We will tell you how you can make that happen. Over the past few weeks here on Wrestling Showdown, we've seen Mike Musso, we've seen the heavyweight title, Looking Sharp, Bobby Roberts, and we know now that they are all set to meet in the main event of Wrestlution 14. They signed the contract for it just 2 weeks ago right here on Wrestling Showdown, and it ended in Mike Musso being laid out by his two challengers, further injuring his back. Now, I promised you an injury update. Mike has been unable to bring this to himself, but he has sent me an email which I have here. Let me read this out to you. As some people know, I have been suffering from a back injury, which has been bothering me all year. My Wrestlution opponents, Looking Sharp and Big Bobby Roberts, targeted my injured back 2 weeks ago here on Wrestling Showdown during the contract signing, which has certainly not helped matters. Earlier this week, I went to Queen Margaret Hospital in Dunfermline, the host city of this year's Wrestlution, to meet with an orthopaedic specialist. Following an MRI scan, which you can see here, it transpired that I have suffered from a compressed disc in my lower back. The good news is that while the injury is not impacting on my spine, it is impacting on the nerves in my back. The doctors have advised against surgery at this time and have suggested I undergo manual therapy on the affected disc, which the specialist is confident will be able to improve its condition ahead of my W3L Heavyweight Championship defence at Wrestlution. Unfortunately, however, the doctors have not cleared me to compete at our Galashiels and Linlithgow live events, but I promise you, the W3L fans, that I will be on hand at these events. Obviously only time will tell whether our return to live action is in Mick Musso's best interest, and you can bet that Bobby Roberts and Looking Sharp are going to seek to exploit his injury for all that it is worth. Mike Musso will be there at Galashiels and Linlithgow. He won't be wrestling, but what will he be doing? You'll find out in Galashiels in 7 days' time. Speaking of Galashiels and of Linlithgow, as you know, these are our first 2 live events since the pandemic. Of course, at Galashiels, we know that Krieger is going to be wrestling the original Craig Stevens. Now, you saw at the start of the show what happened just last week. TJ Rage and Krieger being interviewed. Craig Stevens turned up and stuck his nose where it wasn't wanted. There was some physicality, and of course TJ Rage has re-injured his torn bicep. Thankfully, nothing too serious. He's not going to be stuck on the shelf for the rest of the year or anything like that. But he has suffered another injury. Because this Krieger wants some revenge, he's facing Craig Stevens next Sunday. That's right, next Sunday, live in Galashiels. So come out and see that match in person if you can. Tickets out from the website. But Craig Stevens is in action this week. It's something of a tune-up before that event. He is facing the rebrand Sean Moran, the man who is sort of making his debut and sort of returning. It's a long story, I'm sure Joe Fordyce will explain it to you. Let's go down to ringside as the original Craig Stevens takes on Sean Moran.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a singles match. Circle 1, 4, introducing first. Standing in the corner to my right, this is the original Craig Stevens. His opponent in the corner to my left, ladies and gentlemen, this is the rebrand, Sean Moran.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce here with you on Wrestling Showdown. We've got a singles clash dead ahead. Of course, the man on the left hand side of the screen, the original Craig Stevens. He has been causing all sorts of problems over the past 7 days. Oh, Craig Stevens with an almighty knee lift in the midsection of the rebrand Sean Moran. You might recognise Sean Moran, of course. He was formerly Jonathan Richards, and he appeared here on Showdown Challenge for the tag team title quite a while ago now. He managed to slow his momentum and stay on the ring apron, and he catches Stevens as he comes in with that shoulder block. Moran took some time out wrestling and, well, basically found his inner American Southern Territories wrestler. Now, a bit of goading of Craig Stevens didn't pan out, so he got caught with that knee lift, but he's fired back. And he's got Stevens up across the shoulders. Could be a short one. Well, now Stevens has got Sean Moran up. When he slips out, this is back and forth. I don't think Craig Stevens is expecting this. And down he goes. Sean Moran with the first big move of the match, and straight for the very first cover. And Stevens kicking out. Wow. Sean Moran can apparently see all you viewers at home. I always thought there was something a little strange about him, but he's obviously operating on a different level of consciousness as Craig Stevens snaps his throat in the top rope. Now, speaking of Stevens, just last week there he was, confronted the tag team champions TJ Rage and Krieger, basically complaining they haven't been defending the tag team championship, but considering that there's been no wrestling anywhere due to a global pandemic, that's hardly a surprise. So of course Stevens got in the face of the champions, the referee trying to make him break the holds as he's wrapping Sean Moran's arm around that middle rope. He got in a confrontation. You saw how TJ squared up to him, and Stevens, he got physical with TJ Rage, a man with a torn bicep, and he has re-injured it, thankfully not too seriously, but enough to keep him on the shelf. And it's just showing that Craig Stevens is becoming increasingly desperate in his quest to hold the title. He said he should be the tag team champion. He'd face Raging Krieger on his own if needs be. And he's been sort of desperate to get his hands on a championship. Now obviously, the upshot of what happened last week is that in 7 days' time, in Galashiels, Sean Moran hanging with the back heel, but immediately went for a cover. He's not going to give Craig Stevens a moment. Stevens blocked the vertical suplex and reversal. He's so powerful. And he goes for the cover. This is back and forth. I don't think Stevens was expecting Sean Moran to bring the fight to him the way he has. Now, of course, as you know, we've got live events coming up. Goes Wrestlution Saturday the 16th of October in Dunfermline. It's the event all wrestlers in W3L want to be a part of, as Stevens holds up Sean Moran. And of course, we are live and unlocked in Galashiels, Linlithgow and Grangemouth. And speaking of Galashiels, next Sunday, that's right, in 1 week's time, the original Craig Stevens will face Krieger 1-on-1 in a match in Galashiels, W3L's first event back in front of you, the W3L fans, all stemming from what happened last week. Krieger is out for revenge. Stevens out to continue his dominance. He just clubbed it back at Sean Moran. Look at the strength of the original. Sean Moran slipped out the back. Stevens, I think those shots kind of have rattled him, because those are a couple of really weak punches he's throwing, and Sean Moran's got the better of him. And he runs into my shoulder block. And again. And this match is swinging in the favour of the rebrand. And Craig Stevens landed awkwardly on that one. And Sean Moran has taken the fight to Craig Stevens. Clearly rebranding is the best thing that's ever happened to him. Goes for the cover. Is he going to beat the original? He nearly did. And here's a fun little fact for you. The very last episode of, shall we call it, normal Wrestling Showdown, which was in the June of last year, it was before we had to head into the W3L archives and start bringing Wrestling Showdown Rewind and like, saw Kevin Williams defending the Wrestling Showdown Championship against Craig Stevens. At the start of January of last year, it was Craig Stevens against Roderick Jones for the vacant Breakout Championship. So he kicks Moran in the head. We're going to see the biggest stars and the biggest matches and the biggest events. You should definitely head to the W3L box office. As he hoists up across his shoulders. And power slams him down, in for the cover. But pulls him off the mat. He's... Did you hear that? Calling out Krieger. They're meeting in 7 days' time. Saying it's for him. And drops Sean Moran right on his head. And gets a pinfall victory. What an emphatic win. Sean Moran, credit where it's due, he took the fight to Craig Stevens and absolutely gave him all he could handle. I think he gave him more than Stevens was expecting. But the original... he's continuing the assault. He's got Krieger next Sunday in Galashiels. Get your tickets, come out and see it live. And now, putting the exclamation point on. And once again, Sean Moran gets dropped on his head.
An emphatic statement from the original Craig Stevens. He defeats Sean Moran, has some choice words for Krieger on the way, and then continues the assault after the match. Things I'm sure will get out of hand in Galashiels. Krieger versus Craig Stevens live at our first event since the pandemic kicked in. Come out, see us live. It's next Sunday in Galashiels. Of course, that's not our only live event, as you know. We've got Linlithgow coming up. We've got Grangemouth as well. And on the horizon, yes, it's Wrestlution 14, the main event. As we know, is Mike Musso defending the heavyweight championship. against Looking Sharp and Bobby Roberts. What state will Mike Musso's back be in come Wrestlution? Will the rehab be enough? Anything is possible. Come out and see all these live events. You can, of course, get your tickets for those events from our website. You can also pick up t-shirts as well. We've got a whole range up on the W3L website. There's a brand new one from Kevin Williams, more on him in a second. You can pick up DVDs as well, so you can get your tickets, you can get your t-shirts, you can get your DVDs, all by going to W3LWrestling.com. Make your purchase and sign up to the mailing list while you are at it. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us over on Instagram. Make sure you have subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. You really should. And of course, check out W3LBoxOffice.com, where you can see the biggest stars and the biggest matches on the biggest events in W3L history. Now, before we leave you this week, let's talk about Kevin Williams. He was in action last week wrestling the Tormentor, and you will have noticed that at the end of the match he was wanting to get back his Wrestling Showdown Championship, and it seemed to not be there. Let's quickly show you the end of that match and then hear from Kevin Williams.
Williams hoists him across the shoulders, mega driver! Down goes the Tormentor. Williams covers him and gets the pinfall victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the match, Kevin Williams!
So Williams overcomes the Tormentor. It wasn't easy, but he managed to do it. And Williams is asking for his championship belt. Where's the Wrestling Showdown Championship belt? Why hasn't Williams been given his belt back?
Ladies and gentlemen of the W3L Network subscribers, it's me, your W3L Wrestling Showdown Champion. And I sit here without my property, my Wrestling Showdown Championship belt. Now I was ecstatic, beyond ecstatic, to shake the rust off, take on an opponent in preparation for being in front of you guys when we hit the tour again. And some snake in the grass, some Wario wannabe stole my property, stole my gold, stole what I have defended with every ounce of my being, with every extra life I have in me. I'm not a hard man to find. I am not a difficult person to challenge to a match for my Wrestling Showdown Championship. All you have to do is ask. So I plead with the absolute lowlife that has taken what is mine. Bring it to one of the next events. Place it in the middle of the ring. And I'll give you an opportunity to take it for real. You just have to go through me. And if you look in these eyes, you might find that will be the difficult task at hand.